Hi, this is Christina Selishenko of Proverbs 31 Woman. Many people have asked for a tour of our tiny house, which happens to be a motor coach out here in the big woods. We call it the little house in the big woods. We are currently parked in a temporary location, but it's on my in-laws' property. As you can see, is just surrounded by the most gorgeous forest, and our property is as well. Right now we're plugged into my in-laws' power, but up at the top of the coach you can see there's some solar panels there, and that runs the whole coach except for the convection oven that is in there. Right now it's not working. Hopefully it's an easy fix. I believe this is a 1988 Beaver coach. We got a smoking deal on it. It was just God sent, I think. Our biggest difficulty right now is, when you're in the forest or the countryside, the dirt wants to come in. Well, the forest wants to come in here. You can see all these little pine needles, and so vacuuming every day is important. And it's also important not to leave our shoes outside, even though that might seem like a good idea. But the problem is, we're in the wilderness, and there are rats and mice out here, and they will poop through your shoes. But once we get some barn cats, I think that's going to make a big difference. So, this is about 108 square feet. You can see here, of course, are the driver's seats. And right now, I've got boxes still sitting here. All these boxes I collapsed down because I will be able to use those to start our new garden. Really recommend it. Just lay down cardboard on the soil where there's lots of weeds, water it down, and it's going to smother all those weeds. And we have this not terribly attractive curtain that goes all around what would be the windshield. I'll probably replace those eventually, but for right now it's functional. A few things I haven't unpacked here. These big captain's chairs, they roll around so that you have extra seating, which is really nice. This is a nice sturdy couch. It does not fold out, unfortunately. I told my husband the one thing I really wanted in a motorhome or coach was permanent beds for the kids, but it didn't work out that way. But my son does sleep on this, and he's pretty comfy there because he's still a little guy. You can see there's quite a bit of storage all around. Obviously we're using it, but the only difficulty with it is there's a little shelf there in the middle. So you can't store anything very big, but there's some of my daughter's supplies, and over here we have some homeschool books, and a few more up here, and all our DVDs and CDs we still use those. We're old-fashioned. We put in these big binders. They work great. Saves a ton of space. I think we have 3 of them for all our movies and things. Right now our homeschool supplies are just sitting here, the ones that we use a work box for each child. That's these. They can carry them wherever they want. They can go outside with them. They're awesome for any kind of living, but especially tiny house living. But right now, they're just sitting here because here we have a lovely gas stove, which actually I really like. It makes the place very homey when we're using it, but right now we're not using it. So these are here right now. I'm still organizing a little bit. This is an ottoman, and this was such a great find. You see all kinds of really cool convertible furniture, but it's often very expensive. Well, this was very affordable. Found it on Amazon. This cover comes off here very easily, and it opens out into a full bed. It's kind of maybe a little narrow for like an adult male, but it works perfectly for our daughter. And it just comes out into this little hallway here. And we have these rugs came with the coach. There's a lot of things in here that were from the previous owners. There's white rugs everywhere, which you can see are already totally filthy. Not practical at all. I'll be replacing those, I'm sure. And then over here is the kitchen. Ta-da! And a little bit over here as well. So it actually is bigger than you might think it would be. The refrigerator's right here, and it is small, but you'd be surprised what you can fit in here. You can fit a gallon of milk in here, and right now we just have a few things that we brought over from our old house. My big complaint is, vegetables that are larger, like the cauliflower and the broccoli, don't fit in the crisper drawers. And then up here is the freezer, which we're not really using currently. Forgive the sink, it's a mess right now. We're working on getting potable water in here. More storage up in here. Kind of a big deal is if you have pots and pans, or these are larger mixing bowls, there's not a very good place to store them in here. All the cupboards are smaller. You can kind of see here I have some of my smaller pots and pans in here. But aside from that, I was surprised at how much storage there was. And hello, there's me. And the convection oven, by the way. And a gas stove. But I was just surprised by how much I actually could fit in here. This it was designed to be a wine cabinet. I've obviously got some canned goods in here and things. And a few things down here. This once upon a time I think had an ice maker in it. And here as well. I haven't got it perfectly organized the way I'd love to, but it's getting there. You can see there's a place even for spices. And here's our bedroom. This was all originally all that dark wood, everything very dark, brown. And I really need light and bright, so I painted it. I was painting everything with the coach parked in our suburban lawn until the city decided that that was inappropriate. We had to move the coach. But I did manage to get this room done. I used a special paint that was just for cabinets that really hides all the brush marks. Looks like they've always been white. And then I very carefully chose this shade of blue. Didn't want it to be gray, wanted it to be cheerful. The bedding makes it kind of feminine, but my husband puts up with that. He really likes all the very dark wood, and so we'll probably keep the rest of the coach that way. There's a cedar closet behind the mirror there. And actually, I don't know if I showed you more of these ugly, dirty rugs, but this flooring was pretty new, I think, when we moved into the coach. And it's all throughout, which is very practical, much better than carpet. Unfortunately, a lot of the cabinetry has carpet on the inside. And let me see here if I find a sort of an empty cabinet, if I could find one. Well, I don't know if you can see, but this is all carpet and it just is kind of icky. We'll probably tear that out sometime. Each of the kids has a sleeping bag, and that makes sleeping in the living area so much easier. I don't have to tear down bedding every single night. They sleep cozy and warm, and it's really easy to clean up. I love that idea. Thank you to my mother-in-law. The bathroom, one bathroom for a family of 4, is a little snug. And you can see the kind of looks gray here, but this is actually sort of this sort of weird bluish color. But we make it work, could be worse. Couldn't have any running water. So I think that's it. So this is, this was probably more than $1 million coach at one time. But obviously we didn't pay that much for it. And it may not be the most adorable thing in the world, like you see on Pinterest. But it is very usable and practical. And, the average American can't afford to have both land and a gorgeous house. We are certainly among those people. And so you make compromises. There's a chair here. Originally, when we bought this, right where this ottoman is, there was a weighted table and a couple of chairs. A couple had it. So anyway, that's sitting there for now. We'll probably be getting rid of it. We don't really need it. There's our TV, by the way. So there you have it. Our tiny house motorhome. And we're trying to make it more homey all the time.